15th, 2025, Israel unleashed airstrikes on Iran's nuclear facilities, killing 200. Calm. Iran struck back with Israel and fueling fears of a wider war. The United States ships and aircraft to the Persian Gulf, a bold move as nuclear talks stall, and Iran flexes its might with Russia and China in naval. What happens next could change everything. Will this spark ignite the region, or can disaster still be averted? In the quiet, shadowy hours of February, Iranian fast attack boats tore through the waters of the Persian Gulf. They sped toward a U.S. Navy warship. These were no ordinary vessels. Armed with Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, they raced at 50 knots, closing the distance fast. The American crew sent urgent radio airwaves. Silence was the only reply. A clear sign of defiance. This was not a chance meeting on the open sea. The U.S. ship in their path was not a supply carrier. It was a warship packed with power and purpose, with advanced radar that could track every move for miles. Its weapons, .50 caliber machine guns and Griffin missiles, this ship was a fortress on water, a symbol of American strength that carried a quiet warning. Prepared to meet any challenge Iran might bring. The boats drew closer, now just 200 yards, acted swiftly, following a clear plan. First, the Iranians to stop. No answer came. Bright streaks of light meant to catch attention and signal danger. The boats ignored them, their speed steady. Americans fired warning shots. The lead ship, sending up splashes that broke the silence. It was a At last, the Iranian boats slowed, then stopped. The crews looked across the way and tested. The warning shots worked. But the moment hung heavy with questions. How far would Iran push? How close had they come to a line? This standoff was more than a tense chase. It was a snapshot of the bigger fight brewing in the Persian Gulf. The United States had been building up its forces there, a response to Iran's tightening bonds with Russia and China. The IRGC's bold move looked like a test, a way to probe America. Would the U.S. back? The answer came in those warning shots. Calm, controlled, but unmistakable. America wanted peace but would not. Persian Gulf has long been a place where trouble simmers. With every one wrong step could light a fire no one could put out. That morning, as the Iranian boats, the world held its breath. Peace stayed intact, but only just. Balance even more as the Gulf braced for the moves still to unfold. In the calm waters of the Persian Gulf, a single Iranian boat, its intentions hidden behind the hum of engines. 160 yards, a mere 146 meters. At that range, every second mattered. Tense but steady, knowing that one wrong move could turn the Gulf into a battle. The rules were clear. If the boat came any closer, and in that case, the U.S. Navy would not hesitate to act. The Iranian vessel had crossed a zone where danger hung thick. High alert had its weapons locked and ready. Gunners stood by, their fingers close to the triggers. Every twitch of the boat's movement. The crew knew they could instantly end the but they waited, holding them back. Then a voice crackled over the radio, after ignoring every warning. The tone was hard to read, part fear, part defiance. But it was too late for words. The U.S. ship's systems had already missiles were primed, guns aimed. The technology on board left no room for doubt. America. This was a show of force and a silent promise that any further push would be far from the action, eyes were watching. In Bahrain, the 5th Fleet's command center buzzed with activity. Screen, radar feeds, radio chatter, and video from the ship. Commanders leaned in, studying every detail. It stopped just short of disaster. They saw the American crew stay calm, following orders without panicking. It was training, discipline, and a clear plan in motion. The world might never know how close it came to war that day, but the U.S. Navy has a strict way of handling such moments. First, they are warned by the radio. If that fails, they use flares or lights to signal danger shots. Bullets fired into the water, not to hit, but to halt. Each step is careful, and each move is thought out. Job. The Iranian boat stopped, and the crisis eased. But the option to destroy the target was always, because patience has limits. This careful dance between force and restraint, they did not need to fire a lethal shot because they knew they could. Control over the situation spoke louder than any explosion. And found them guarded by a force that would not flinch. But as the boats pulled back, how long could this balance hold? The answer would come soon enough as the Gulf braced for the next move. In the restless waters of the Persian Gulf, a U.S. warship stood as a silent giant, its deck bristling with weapons ready to unleash. At its core was the Mark 38 25mm gun, through small boats with relentless speed. Firing up to 180 matched by the .50 caliber machine guns positioned along the rails. These swiveling weapons could easily, their bullets cutting through light armor. Waited in reserve, their laser-guided accuracy a quiet promise of destruction for any threat that dared come too close. Formed a wall of firepower, a testament to American naval might. The warship's strength reached beyond its hull. Helicopters circled overhead, their engines a steady hum against the Gulf with radar, sonar, and Hellfire missiles. They scanned the horizon for miles, ready to pinpoint and higher still, drones drifted silently, their cameras and sensors painting. This aerial network fed real-time intelligence to the ship, linking guns, missiles, and crew into a single unyielding force. The vessel was no mere ship. It was a floating fortress, its reach stretching across role in combat. Iran countered with its swarm tactic, slicing through the waves. The plan was simple. Overwhelmed with numbers, sow chaos. The U.S. warship was built for this. Tracking their erratic paths without faltering. The crew, honed by rigorous training, remained steady. Drones confirmed targets, and the weapons stood primed. The swarm meant to disrupt. Iran's boats darted and weaved, but could not pierce the coordinated shield of technology and discipline. The tack match for American precision. From Bahrain, the 5th Fleet were named, and no faces were revealed, yet their authority was apparent. through secure channels every moment, guiding the ship's response with a firm hand. Their watch ensured decisions stayed sharp and measured, balancing power with caution. Presence underscored a broader truth. The U.S. Navy operated under a unified strategy, its every move shaped by leaders who saw the battlefield. The encounter carried a stark message, not from hesitation, but from strength. The weapons were loaded, the systems alert. This was no retreat. It was a calculated pause. Could strike, but chose not to. The warship's crew proved they could dominate without firing a shot. Their readiness a warning etched in. As the Iranian boats retreated, the Gulf stilled, but the chapter appeared to be written not at sea, but in the shadowed rooms where power quietly shifted. 2025 standoff and June 2025, Israel-Iran clashes reveal a man with naval might and air support in the Persian Gulf. Iran's new Shahid Soleimani ship and drills with Russia and China, firepower and technology dominate. Looking ahead, Iran's provocations could spark U.S. airstrikes or more warship price spikes and global economic strain. Diplomacy might ease tensions through nuclear and complicate matters. Alternatively, proxy wars via drag on. With global eyes watching what comes next, the Gulf's fragile balance teeters. And that with you today, bringing you the most authentic, up-to-date insights, backed by expert analysis and political researchers. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support is what drives us to create in-depth content. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and stay tuned for our next video.